All right.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I'm Melissa,
I'm Sarah.
and welcome to Glanmore National Historic Site. This is our first ever Periscope broadcast, so we're really excited about that. And we're going to do a behind-the-scenes tour of this fabulous Victorian mansion that was built in 1882, 1883. We're going to show you a few features of the historic house that sometimes you wouldn't see on a guided tour. And then we're going to head up to our artifact storage, and we're going to show you some really cool things in our artifact storage area of the museum. And that's a part of the museum that as a museum visitor, you would never get to see. All right, so we're going to start in the front hall. So follow me.
All right, here we go.
So we are most excited right now at Glanmore with our our reproduction carpet that we've just installed in the last couple of weeks. So all of this beautiful red and gold carpet that you're seeing around here in the front hall has just been installed, and it's an actual exact reproduction of the carpet that was here on the floor when the house was first built in the 1880s. That carpet stayed on the floor for almost 90 years, if you can believe it. And then we had chunks of it left, so we were able to send that to the manufacturer, and they reproduced it. The manufacturer that did this was based in England, and it's amazingly the same company that made the original carpet. They've been around for 200 years, so we're really excited to have it here. You'll see how gorgeous it looks up the stairs.
A really fun fact about the carpet is that it's incredibly thick, which you wouldn't know unless you got to kind of come in and feel it under your feet, but it's kind of like cushiony.
It's almost like walking on clouds.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. All right, so we're going to come through to the drawing room.
Okay.
So here's the drawing room, and maybe Sarah, you can show everyone the faces on the ceiling. They're some of my favorite things in the house.
Me too. It stood out to me immediately. They're kind of wacky.
It's really interesting when we have school groups visiting Glanmore and the school children notice it. They often say that they're scary faces, but if I point them out to them before they notice it, and I say, oh, look up and see the funny faces, then they all look up and they laugh. But otherwise, if I don't say that, then they look up and they go, those are scary. It's kind of funny. So we're going to go into the card room, and I want to show you a secret panel or compartment in there.
I just learned about this today, which is pretty exciting.
Sarah was all excited. She was thinking, oh my gosh, it's like being in a pirate house or some sort of secret buried treasure thing.
Yeah.
So this is the card room, and so this is a room where you would come to play cards or games if you were here in this house at a party a long time ago. And if you look carefully at the walls, there are hinges built into the doors. You may not be able to see them because they're pretty tiny, but there are hinges built in.
Trying to see if you can see that little hinge right up there in the corner. That's one of them.
So those are, I don't know what they would have stored in those. Of course, nothing right now because there's paintings in front of them. But back here is one that's open, and you can see inside.
It's so awesome.
It's kind of dusty and creepy in there. I wonder if Mr. Phillips, Glanmore's original resident, stored his, I don't know, games in there, his booze during Prohibition. Who knows? Well, actually, Mr. Phillips wasn't alive during Prohibition, but his adopted daughter, Jessie, was. So, the possibilities are endless. And I know Sarah was so excited. She was like, my imagination is running wild right now.
Let's make a movie. That was my thought.
All right, so we're going to go down to the servant staircase. That's a part of the museum that's normally closed to the public. So you'll get to see that. Everything's so quiet now. When we've installed the carpeting, they fixed some of the creaks in the in the floor, so it's really, really quiet.
Oh,
Here's Rona,
this is Rona.
our curator, trying to duck out of the way.
Too late to escape now.
So,
I've
no.
just been discussing sewers.
Oh, fun times. You never know what a curator is going to be talking about.
All the glamorous details
Yeah.
of operations management.
So we're going to come through the servant staircase.
Okay.
And Sarah, get a shot of our bell system up way up high.
Yes.
So throughout the house there were bells, and you could ring the bell and the servant would hear them. Each bell had a different tone, so you'd have to know which tone meant which room, and then that was the room that you would be summoned to. It's pretty cool. So those ones are just all that's left. There would have been more bells than that, but they've been lost to us now. So we're going to go down the stairs first.
Okay.
One thing you wouldn't know about Glanmore is that there are a lot of stairs. So as staff, we are running up and down the stairs probably 40 or 50 times a day, just like the servants would have a long time ago.
All right.
So we're down in the basement area, or the lower level of the house, and this is entirely a staff area of the museum. The ceilings are really low. Sarah's really tall, so she's
Yes.
going to have to duck her head there.
Sarah's hit her head a few times today.
Yeah, so make sure you duck there, Sarah. And this little innocuous cupboard here is hiding something really, really cool. So I'm going to open it up, and you'll see that this was a false wall. Somebody built a wall in front, and when we were doing some restoration, we discovered this wall behind with the original wallpaper still on the wall. So that's the wallpaper that was down in this lower servants area of the house, which is pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
It's kind of a wild and crazy pattern.
It is. I can't decide if I really love it or if I don't. Like, if too much of it would be hard to handle.
Yeah, it's sort of, I think maybe if you did, like in decorating today, they do that one accent wall. Maybe I could handle it then.
Definitely. So Glanmore inspired decorating for
That's right.
anybody watching.
So we put this false wall back after they discovered it, and we wanted to protect that wallpaper from light. So that's why we have this door over top of it, so that it won't fade over time. So remember I said there's tons of stairs at Glanmore. We're going up the servant stairs. I promise I'd probably be huffing and puffing by the time I get up there, because it's always exhausting. So we're going to go all the way up, and Sarah's going to go ahead of me.
All right. So this is where we just were, heading back up. So this door here is where we came into the stairway. And we're just going to flip around.
So these stairs are pretty steep. And this is what the servant would be walking on.
Yeah, I'll give you something to look at rather than just the blank walls. Us trudging up the stairs here. And
we're behind the scenes now. So this is one of our staff office areas here, and you'll see our research library, all sorts of volumes there. And we found Julie.
Hi.
Julie's working here for 3 weeks on a placement. Whoa, Julie, come into focus.
There we go.
You are. She's here. She's a candidate teacher from the Faculty of Ed at Queen's University. And what are you working on there, Julie?
I'm working on activity backpacks so that when people come into the museum, they don't necessarily have to get a tour with a tour guide. They can take an activity backpack and go around the museum themselves
Yeah.
and do the activities.
So they'll get a bag with all sorts of activities suitable for families to keep the children interested and occupied and engaged. It's a great idea. Everybody can feel like great parents that day. I did something great with my kid at Glanmore. That's what it'll be.
well, what's a sample of something that would be in the backpack?
Yeah, over here she's got
Carpet
bowling
bowling.
balls. So down in the drawing room we have carpet bowling on display.
With balls.
Yeah, coming close.
Try not to drop any of them. And they basically, what you do to play is you put this out, and the objective of the game is to see who can get the balls closest to the jack.
Oh,
Yeah. So, or knock your opponent's ball farther away from the jack.
Yeah.
So it's a lot like bocce. In fact,
Right.
you'll see the label on the what says boules there, but carpet bocce on that side. So if you've ever played that outdoor game of bocce ball, very similar to that, only indoors. You're not hurling the balls quite as hard as you would outside because you don't want to break anything.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a quiet, gentle game. All right. Thanks so much, Julie. That's great. We'll look forward to, maybe we'll do another Periscope someday where we highlight the backpacks and show everybody what they're all about once they're all put together.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's good.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks so much, Julie.
Thanks.
We're going to carry on. And don't look at my messy desk over there.
We swung right by.
Okay, good. And so we're going to head upstairs again. Ooh, listen to the alarm. We're actually going through the historic bathroom.
This bathroom is super cool. I think just before we head up, we should take a quick swing through. So Glanmore was one of the first homes in Belleville to have indoor plumbing, yes?
You are right, yeah. One of the first homes in Belleville. And so you see the toilet there. I love the toilet paper. It's one of my favorite things too.
We're going to show a photo of that on Twitter later this week.
All right. It is not cottony soft like we have come to expect today. And so yeah, this is the bathroom, and this was built before municipal plumbing. So the ceiling actually slopes downwards, and that's because they collected rainwater.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Yeah. So I don't know what you do in the middle of a drought. I'm not sure. All right, so Sarah, I'm going to let you get ahead of me.
All right,
We're in
so
the master bedroom.
goodness.
It's such a gorgeous bedroom. And you'll see the original bed there. It's called a half tester bed.
What does half tester mean?
It
Is
means
that
that the curtains only go halfway.
Right. I see.
Yeah.
Took me a moment.
Yeah. So we're going to keep coming this way. And we'll stop and have a look at one of my favorite paintings. I think I've said favorite a lot. I like a lot of stuff here.
Yeah.
But here's my favorite painting in the museum. I just love this cat. It's painted by Horatio Couldry. And Horatio was a noted British artist. And I just love the personality that this cat has. And it kind of speaks to me. So there it is. And we featured that in our blog post about what Glanmore people love about Glanmore just the other day. So if you want to find out more about that, you can check that out on our website, glanmore.ca. So we're going to head way up in the attic. And that's a part of the museum that visitors don't get to go to.
Yes, this door is usually closed.
This door is usually closed and locked. Get a shot from way down low of those stairs because, oh my
Check
gosh,
these bad boys out.
they're really steep.
All right, and I guess what we'll do, guys, follow us up.
Yeah, come on upstairs.
Up the stairs. I've got both my hands on the iPad right now, so let's just make sure I don't fall. There we go.
All right.
All right.
To the left, we're gonna go.
To the left. Right. So the lights are coming on.
Sorry about that. I stubbed my toe. So here we are in the attic, and this is our artifact storage area. So you're getting to see a part of the museum that you wouldn't normally get a chance to see. So all these boxes here are all textiles. Things like clothing, nightgowns, shawls, suits, all sorts of different textiles. And I pulled one out ahead of time. So I thought it might be kind of cool to take a peek
Yes, it would.
inside.
So what have we got? It's just like Christmas.
I know, it's like opening a Christmas present. We have a dress.
Ooh,
It's silk.
look at those cuffs.
Yeah, I know, aren't they gorgeous? And look at all the beadwork in there. It's so pretty right in there. So, I'll just pull the tissue away so we can see it better. So this is the top part. It's a two-piece dress. And it's about 1890 it dates to. And it was worn by Miss Lizzie Tickle.
Lizzie Tickle.
Lizzie
eh?
Tickle, and Tickle. The Tickle name is a really well-known name here in Belleville, and the Tickles had a furniture factory and casket making business right
Interesting.
here, right in downtown Belleville. So this is Lizzie Tickle's dress. So we like to collect things at Glanmore that are either have something to do with this house or the lifestyles of the people that lived here, and also things that have to do with regional history. So one of our challenges is to exhibit some of these local history items in our restored house, and the more restoration we do, the harder it becomes to exhibit it. But nobody else is collecting regional history stuff, so we will keep collecting it until hopefully we will be able to open another museum here in Belleville and be able to feature some of those things. So here's this gorgeous, gorgeous dress. Beautiful silk lace and all the beadwork on it. And as I said, Lizzie Tickle wore it in the 1890s.
Are we able to see the skirt or?
I don't have gloves on and I don't want to handle it myself. And because it's made of silk, it's probably pretty fragile. So we're just going to leave it in the box there. And I'll come back when we're finished our broadcast and I'll repack it with all the tissue and put it away safely so that it doesn't get any more creases and things. Yeah, so kind of cool to see that. If we come over on this side, you'll see all these piles of rolls
Oh, yes.
over here. Those are all rolled documents. And they're rolled up so that they don't get creased. Right? If you ever see old paper that's got a crease in it, that's usually where it's probably going to tear or rip. So these documents and paper items have all been rolled. And we have a student right now. His name is Stephen, and he's a co-op placement student from Loyalist in the General Arts and Sciences program.
Another Loyalist student like
because
myself.
Sarah's a Loyalist student too. So Stephen is creating a master list of all these rolled documents, and we are going through them to decide if we should keep them here at Glanmore, or if they should maybe go to the new community archives, which will be opening next week. So that's kind of cool. So probably a lot of them will eventually make their way over to the archives, which is where they'll be more accessible to the public.
Well, Stephen is not here. He's
He's not here today. He was going to be here.
lonely
but,
desk area.
Yeah. So we're going to carry on past more textile boxes, and we'll go and see Danielle, another staff member here at Glanmore, hard at work. Hey Danielle,
Hello.
what you up to?
I'm currently taking a photo of a theodolite that belonged to J.J. Hazlitt, who was the original surveyor of the Belleville area, Quinte, and Hastings, much of Hastings County. So it's an 1840s theodolite, and I'm trying to get a really good photo of the maker's mark right down there in front of the compass, which is very faint.
There it is.
So I'm trying to capture it on film. It says the maker is Abraham Liverpool, so it's a fairly rare theodolite from England, and I'm trying to capture the photo. Capture it on film because it's very, very faint. I didn't even see it. The first time I looked at the theodolite, I didn't even see a maker's mark on there, and then it caught the light. But our curator caught it in a good light and saw that it actually did have a maker's mark. Trying to capture it on film.
So what will the photograph be used for?
This photograph in particular is going to be used for an application that we're doing for Canadian cultural property. It's a designation that some artifacts receive. It's a distinction that will basically protect it, saying that it's an important artifact to the culture of Canada, and it protects it from ever leaving the country or being unlawfully traded, that kind of thing. It has a lot of documentation that'll go with it. So we're currently in the process of applying for that designation.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And then you'll also take photographs later for our database, right?
Yes, and also for our database.
So every single object in the museum has a number assigned to it. So then we can enter that number into the database, and that object, hopefully if it's been entered already, we're still working on that, will pop up, and all the information about it and a photograph will be right there. And most importantly, its location. That's really important, because as the caretaker of people's treasures, the people of Belleville in this region have donated these items for us to take care of. We need to be able to locate them immediately. And we often get donors or their families calling us and saying, oh, my great uncle donated a pair of ice skates in 1974. I want to see them. Can you find them? And then we have to be able to say, yeah, absolutely. We can find them for you. Sure. And just take a minute and find them. So that's one of the important reasons why we photograph those items and document them so well. So since I mentioned
Speaking
ice skates,
of,
Speaking of ice skates.
have a peek at the ice skates over there.
This is a very impressive collection of skates. I'm going to kind of go shelf by shelf so people can see. I think this is a sled,
That's a
right?
toboggan up there.
A toboggan up there.
Look at the curl at the end of it. It's pretty cool.
That's so neat. Let's see, try and get the light fixed. And then if we come down here a shelf, we can start to see the skates.
Lots and lots of ice skates, all different styles. We have even a couple speed skates in our collection, and we also have some skates that date to the 1700s in our collection. So really early skates.
That's wild. Can you
Yeah.
point those out
No,
to
I don't.
see?
I'm
Or
sorry, I can't remember everything. I could try, but it's one of the speed skates actually, but I don't remember which ones.
That's okay.
Yeah. But
Melissa is my
this one,
personal encyclopedia.
right
around
here, this one that I'm pointing to here, this is a speed skate. So you can tell the blades are a lot longer. Sometimes the speed skates have holes cut into the blade to make them lighter as well, so that you could skate faster, less weight on your feet.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. All right, so let's carry on through artifact storage. You'll see all sorts of cool things. We'll let Danielle get back to her work.
Bye, Danielle.
Bye-bye. Enjoy the rest of your tour.
I'm not going to open up this box, but I want you to notice this item here called the Fiji Mermaid. And we do have a mermaid in our collection. It's inside this box. We're going to let it stay sleeping. But it's in there. It really is in there. And the mermaid is kind of paper mache and a primate skull and a fish body all kind of mushed together. And it was a really popular thing to exhibit in museums in the late or mid 1800s. So the one we have was featured in our blog post about what Glanmore people like about Glanmore. And again, you can find that on our website at glanmore.ca, and you'll see a great picture of it there.
I think it'll be popping up again on Twitter on the weekend, on Sunday. So
Okay. So, if you've just joined us, we're at Glanmore National Historic Site, and we're touring the artifact storage area of the museum. So, we're in our painting storage area right now, and these are this is our homemade version of a very expensive shelving unit that one of our staff made. And so we'll see which one should we pull out. Maybe this one. Oh, this is a good one to pull out. So they're just on wheels, and they roll out, and it allows us to hang the paintings upright and flat so that they're not being bumped or by anything. And this one's really funny. Obviously, we haven't identified. Can you get this tag? Wait, let me hold it up for you. We haven't identified this gentleman, so it says, photograph of a balding man. If you know who this man is, please let us know here at Glanmore.
there we go.
It's really funny. So we have our paintings all here. This is a lovely painting of Mrs. Putty, and it was painted by Manly MacDonald who is a very well-known artist, local artist here in this region. And so he painted mostly landscapes, but some portraits as well.
And who is Mrs. Putty?
A local resident. We have her husband in another painting somewhere as well. Yeah. So we'll slide this back in, get the action shot. Ooh, sliding in. Ooh.
There it goes. Tucked away for safety.
Uh-oh.
Or maybe not.
Got it. And so we'll carry on in our artifact storage. Down here, this is kind of a messy pile of dishes, but it has an interesting story. These are all dishes that were found in a shipwreck.
Yes,
Isn't that cool? The ship was called the Munson, and it was a Belleville-based ship, but it sank in Kingston Harbor. And so the underwater archaeologists, these are all the things that they brought up from the shipwreck.
The bag
That's
cleaned its
pretty cool.
lighting. That is super cool.
Yeah, it's really neat. So we'll just turn around this way. And here, common insects and pests of museums in North America. This is a very handy reference poster because we're always worried about bug infestations in the museum. So up in the top corner, these are examples of carpet beetle larvae. So every good museum worker should be able to recognize these different bugs. And we actually put out like sticky traps, sort of like those glue traps that you can use for mice, those nasty ones. And we watch them and see if any bugs get stuck on them, and then we identify them and say, uh-oh, we have a bug infestation problem. Especially because we have a lot of wool and silk items in the museum, it's really important to protect that. So things you don't know that are going on in museums are all these crazy things about bugs and stuff like that.
And what would you do, like, if you had an infestation? What are kind of the steps?
It would depend on what was infested, but for example, furs often have bugs associated with them. So if we did find bugs in a piece of fur or a fur coat or something, then we have a deep freeze, a big chest freezer, and we would wrap it into a plastic bag, seal it tightly, freeze it for 3 months. That deep cold will kill all the nasty little critters on the coat, and then we can take it out, brush it out, make sure there's no more still on there, and then we'd start monitoring it regularly to make sure that didn't happen again.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll come in here. We have one last area to look at. Sure, Sarah's going to show us stuff now.
Yay! All right, so we have some pieces for the future firefighting exhibit in here. So this is, I believe this is a hose clamp.
Yes, that's a hose clamp there. Yeah.
Yes, I'm feeling like a pro.
So in the old days, you didn't have something to turn on or off the water, so you'd clamp it to stop the water flow, right? And all these boxes up here are full of nozzles. Nozzles don't get me that excited, but whatever.
They're kind of neat, though.
Firefighters think they're really important, right? They need all their different nozzles, and some of them have, it's quite interesting, some of them have different spray techniques, so you can get different types of spray, much like a garden hose, which is kind of cool.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I'm learning new things already.
Way down there, that's a speaking trumpet. So that's a firefighter's trumpet, and this one's actually ceremonial, so it would have been won as a trophy in a firefighting competition. So why are we showing you all these firefighting? Ooh, handcuffs. Sorry, I got distracted. Why are we showing you all these firefighting artifacts? Because we're working on an exhibit about the history of firefighting here in Belleville. So in the fall, you'll be able to go and see that exhibit. It will be at the new fire station at the corner of Station and Bet Street, I think.
Bettis,
yeah.
I think it's pronounced.
Yeah.
There's also a mini exhibit right now, kind of in the hallway, to give you a
That's
a
right.
taste.
Downstairs, on the main, well, downstairs for us because we're up in the attic, but on the second floor of Glanmore, you can see a little teaser exhibit about it. Okay, we can't resist showing you these. Sometimes we have naughty artifacts in the museum.
I discovered them today.
I don't know if you can see those.
Do you want me
those
to?
women? We're not going to stay focused on them for too long because we don't want to offend anyone because they're a little bit rude, but they're kind of cool. They are boot jacks. So you might stick your boot in the little lever part there and pull your boots off with them.
We'll leave that to your imagination.
Yeah, you can imagine that. That's right. Lots of different artifacts up here.
This is an old iron, right?
Yeah, that's an iron. We have lots of irons in the museum. These are all laundry artifacts. You're right. Yeah, ice tongs down there, and we'll keep going on. Oh, I see croquet mallets, picnic baskets, saws.
Do we want to look at the toys?
Yes, the
I
toys.
love the toys.
Everyone loves the toys, and we put them out on display. You know, at Christmas time, we always have lots of toys on display, so we have a really big collection of toys here at Glanmore.
Down here in the corner.
Sarah found one today that scares her.
Yes.
So let's show everyone the scary one.
But I'm fascinated. This
There,
is our...
just step back so your shadow's not in it there, Sarah. Okay, tell us about it, Sarah.
It seems to be a clown that crawls. You can kind of see the body here and then the legs.
I don't know why it's in two pieces, but
Terrifying.
sometimes we have creepy things in the museum. Who knows? Who knows? But we have lots of cool games. This one's Lost Air, which is a card game. I don't know how to play it, but one of our staff members, Dave, he grew up playing it at his grandparents' house every year. So there's all sorts of different games down here, dominoes, and engineering for boys. It's hard to see that one with the shadow, but why not engineering for girls, I want to know. So there's lots of toys. There's an old baseball, a doll bed, and all sorts of boxes of dolls as well.
Jack up here?
No, his name is Jim.
Jim. Oh,
You were close. Yeah, Jim's over on the table. I pulled him out. Jim is a boy doll, and I thought we would have a look at him as we go. So I'm going to walk back past all the toys. Oh, check out this really cool carriage. Doll carriage. I love it. The spindly little wheels are awesome. And this 3D puzzle. Hang on, we'll get over here where we can see it better. There, that ship is a 3D puzzle. So if you thought 3D puzzles were a 1990s invention,
Which
you
I
were
did.
wrong. Yeah, Sarah did, right? You did, didn't you, Sarah? So no, you were wrong. That one is from probably the 1940s, something like that.
This is why history is so important, because everything happens in cycles, right?
That's right.
You know?
That's right. We've got our lighting collection up here. We have tons of different types of lights in our collection as well. So we're going to skip over to the table where I left Jim the doll ready for everyone to see. He's in this box.
All right, here we go.
Fancy schmancy box. So
Talk about unboxing here. This is way fancier.
he's
than-
all covered up with tissue. So I'll let you open that up.
He's very delicate with him here because he...
Yeah. We're going to leave him in the box, but I wanted you to be able to see him. He is dating from between the 1840s to 1860s, and his face is cloth that's been painted with plaster, and he has real human hair. Ooh, that's so cool. There he is. He's got leather hands.
Look at the
And-
finger detail, eh?
Yeah, lots of detail on him there. I'm getting my own shadow there, but look at his little chubby fingers. And he's wearing his original shoes. I'm going to scoot over this way so you can see he's got little shoes on and everything. And he's in a sailor's outfit, which would have been a really popular outfit for boys to wear in the 1850s because Queen Victoria dressed her children in sailors, her boys in sailor outfits. So there's Jim. He's pretty cool. He was brought to Canada by a little girl who emigrated from Ireland. So he would have been her little treasure to take on her adventure into the new world. Yeah, so I like Jim a lot. He comes out for display at Christmas time.
It's amazing that he's in such great condition.
It is, really. I mean, he's so old. And it's not often that you get a male doll or a boy doll. And it's not often that we get dolls that have names associated with them. So Jim is his name, and his original owner gave him that name, and it was passed down through the family. So there's Jim the doll. I'm going to let Sarah put the tissue back.
Very gently.
Yeah.
Without touching Jim.
There, that's better.
Slide that in and put his lid back
Put
on.
his lid back on.
Back to sleep, Jim.
Yeah, good night, Jim. If you want to take him back over to the shelf, you can. Sarah, just carry the box over.
I do not recall which shelf Jim came from.
Just go around the corner to the right. Sarah will put Jim away.
Alright.
Yeah, it's a narrow spot there. And then up high, that empty spot on the shelf that's labeled E.
Alright. Does he have a label that needs to be...
He does. It's facing out if you put it in the way you had it there. Yeah.
Ah, I see. Okay. We go very gently. And just slide him back there.
Great job. Awesome.
Alright.
So, thanks so much for joining me on this adventure, Sarah. This has been super fun.
Absolutely.
Sarah, I forgot to tell everybody that Sarah's here at Glanmore as an intern in our social media and marketing. And so she's been helping us. It's great because it's Museum Week on Twitter. So
Yes.
we've been sending out lots of tweets and lots of interesting things. So thanks so much for that, Sarah. And we'll just turn the camera. Here I am. So as I said, I'm Melissa. And thanks so much, everyone, for joining us today. Get in there, Sarah.
Thank you.
If you want to watch this again, or if you missed part of it, we will be posting a link to our broadcast a little bit later on Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah.
And thanks for joining us. Hope you'll come out and see us at Glanmore. Have a great day. Bye.